Hi everyone, welcome back to our class, part 16. What did you study in the last class? Do you remember? We started the lesson 5, when the Vintyas bowed. What's the name of the lesson? When the Vintyas bowed. Did you read the lesson? Did you study it well? I'm going to ask you some questions. Are you ready to answer my questions? Okay. When I ask you, what should you do? You must say the answer loudly. Okay. Say the answer. Some of you keep silence. Every time I tell you to say the answers loudly, but some of you keep silence. All must say the answers. Okay. Okay. Listen to the first question. Who loved to cause troubles? Have you got the answer? Who loved to cause troubles? What's the answer? Yes, the mischievous sage Narada loved to cause trouble. The mischievous sage Narada loved to cause trouble. Who did he visit one day? Who did he visit one day? Who did Narada visit one day? One day, yes, all of you say, one day Narada visited the Vindhya mountain. One day Narada visited the Vindhya mountain. What did he tell Vindhya mountain about Mount Meru? What did Narada tell Vindhya mountain about Mount Meru? Yes, all of you say, you try to say. The sage Narada told him that Mount Meru had declared that he was better than any other peak in the universe. He declared that he was better than any other peak in the world. How did Vindhya mountain react? What was his response? Was he very happy to hear this? No. What did he do? He got angry. And what did he want to do? He wanted to teach Mount Meru a lesson. He wanted to teach Mount Meru a lesson. To teach him a lesson, what did Vindhya mountain do? What did he do to teach Mount Meru a lesson? He grew so much. Then what happened? His peaks touched the skies. What happened then? What was the result? The sun and the moon were unable to move around Mount Meru as usual. They were not able to move around the Mount Meru as usual. So what happened? There was no day and night. So what did the gods do? As there was confusion in the universe, what did the gods do? The gods rushed to the mountain and requested him to shrink back to his normal size. Did he listen to their words? Did he listen to their words? No, he did not listen to their words. Then what happened next? Let's see that. Let's continue the lesson. Let's study the lesson. Okay. All of you take your textbook. I'm going to read the lesson. All of you listen carefully. Okay. So, the gods went to the powerful sage Agastya, who was in Kashi. Sir, they cried, please help us. Agastya felt sorry for the gods and the universe. So, he went to see Vindhya. When the mountain saw the mighty sage, he was frightened. He had been foolish. He had made Agastya angry. Boulders began falling down the hillside as Vindhya shivered in fright. Turn the page, please. Agastya looked at the mountain angrily and said, "Do you know how much trouble you have caused?" "Forgive me for my stupidity, sir," begged Vindhya. But Agastya did not want to hear any excuses. He gave the mountain a hefty kick. Vindhya shrank in fear. At once, all the lesser peaks in the Vindhya range put their heads down in shame. "I am going to the south now," said Agastya. "I command you to remain as you are, with your head low till I return." And he went away. But Agastya never came back. To this day, the Vindhya peaks stay low, waiting for the great sage's return. Once again, I'm going to read the lesson. Look at your textbook. So the gods went to the powerful sage Agastya, who was in Kashi. "Sir," they cried, "please help us." Agastya felt sorry for the gods and the universe. So he went to see Vindhya. When the mountain saw the mighty sage, he was frightened. He had been foolish. He had made Agastya angry. Boulders began falling down the hillside as Vindhya shivered in fright. Agastya looked at the mountain angrily and said, "Do you know how much trouble you have caused?" "Forgive me for my stupidity, sir," begged Vindhya. But Agastya did not want to hear any excuses. He gave the mountain a hefty kick. Vindhya shrank in fear. At once, all the lesser peaks in the Vindhya range put their heads down in shame. "I am going to the south now," said Agastya. "I command you to remain as you are, with your head low till I return." And he went away. But Agastya never came back. To this day, the Vindhya peaks stay low, waiting for the great sage's return. Now, let's study the lesson in detail. Yes, in the last part, you studied that the gods rushed to the Vindhya mountain to request him to shrink back to his normal size, to go back to his normal size. But did he listen to their words? No, he did not listen to their words. So the gods went to the powerful sage Agastya, who was in Kashi. So what did the gods do? To save them, they went to the powerful sage Agastya. They requested him to save them from this problem. "Sir," they cried, "please help us." Agastya felt sorry for the gods and the universe. Agastya listened to their problem. He was ready to help them. He felt sorry for the gods and the universe. So he went to see Vindhya. To bring the problem under control, he wanted to meet the Vindhya mountain. When the mountain saw the mighty sage, he was frightened. He did not listen to the words of the gods, but when he saw the powerful sage Agastya, he was scared. He got frightened. When the mountain saw the mighty sage, the powerful sage, he was frightened. He was scared. He had been foolish. He had made Agastya angry. By making problem in the universe, he made sage Agastya angry. He understood that. Boulders began falling down the hillside as Vindhya shivered in fright. Boulders. What's the meaning of this word boulders? Large rocks. Large rocks began falling down the hillside. Why? Because when Vindhya mountain saw the powerful sage, he shivered in fright. He shivered in fright. He trembled with fear. When he saw the powerful sage, he shivered in fright. That's why boulders began falling down the hillside. Agastya looked at the mountain angrily and said, "Do you know how much trouble you have caused?" The sage Agastya became very much angry with the mountain. He shouted at him. He told him about the problem he had made in the universe. "Forgive me for my stupidity, sir," begged Vindhya. The Vindhya mountain did not listen to the words of the gods, but in front of the sage Agastya, he became very humble. Now he begged him to forgive him for his stupidity. Now he begged the sage to forgive him for his stupidity, for his foolishness. But Agastya did not want to hear any excuses. The sage Agastya was not ready to hear any excuses of Vindhya mountain. He was not ready to hear. He gave the mountain a hefty kick. He did not listen to his words. He wanted to punish the mountain. So what did he do? He gave the mountain a hefty kick, a powerful kick. The mountain was punished by the sage. The sage became very angry with him. So he punished him by giving a hefty kick. Vindhya shrank in fear. At once, all the lesser peaks in the Vindhya range put their heads down in shame. Yes, the mountain was punished by the sage Agastya. So what happened? Vindhya shrank in fear. Vindhya became smaller in fear. When he was punished, he shrank in fear. He went back to his normal size in fear. He was frightened. He was scared of sage Agastya. At once, all the lesser peaks in the Vindhya range put their head down in shame. At once, suddenly, what happened? All the lesser peaks, the smaller peaks in the Vindhya range put their heads in shame. They felt ashamed. They felt ashamed. "I am going to the south now," said Agastya. "I command you to remain as you are with your head low till I return." And he went away. "I am going to the south now." What did he say? He said he was going to the south. And he commanded something. What was his command? "I command you to remain as you are." The sage Agastya commanded the mountain to remain as he was. "With your head low till I return." he asked him, commanded him to remain as he was with his head low till he returned. And he went away. After saying this, he went away. But Agastya never came back. Did he come back? No. Agastya did not come back. To this day, the Vindhya peaks stay low, waiting for the great sage's return. The sage did not return. To keep the promise, the mountain peaks have to stay their heads low forever. They were waiting for the sage's return. This is a story, and all of you know that the peaks and the mountain will not speak like this, but they are given the human characters to tell us, to give us a good message. What is that message? This lesson gives us the message that we should not believe others blindly. Here in the story, Narada told some words to the mountain, the Vindhya mountain, about Mount Meru. Without knowing it properly, he did not know whether it is true or false. Without knowing it properly, he got angry and he wanted to punish the mountain. All the problems happened because of that behavior. The Vindhya mountain was quick-tempered. So, the lesson gives us the message that we should not believe others blindly. ആരെയും കണ്ണുമടച്ച് വിശ്വസിക്കരുതെന്ന്, അല്ലേ? We should understand it whether it is true or false. Have you understood? Now, let's discuss these questions and answers. What is the first question? What did Narada like to do? What did Narada like to do? Did like is in the question. So in the answer, how will you say? What did Narada like to do? Narada liked to cause trouble. Narada liked, L-I-K-E-D. Narada liked to cause trouble. Second question. What was Narada's complaint about Mount Meru? What was the complaint? The complaint was that Mount Meru had declared that he was better than any other peak in the world or universe. Okay, have you understood? What did Vindhya do to teach Meru a lesson? What did Vindhya do to teach Meru a lesson? What did he do? He grew so much. He expanded his size to teach Meru a lesson. 4. Why did the gods go to Agastya? The gods went. In the question, why did the gods go? So in the answer we have to say, the gods went to Agastya to ask Vindhya mountain to shrink back to his normal size. Okay. What did the sage Agastya do to Vindhya? What did the sage Agastya do to Vindhya? The sage Agastya made him realize the problems caused by him. And what was the result? The mountain, the Vindhya mountain, became very humble. Have you understood? Next, we have the true or false questions. You read these sentences and try to do these answers yourself. Okay, do it yourself. Let's think. In stories, writers sometimes make objects speak, think, and act like humans. In the story, what kind of person is the Vindhya mountain? In the story, the Vindhya mountain is given the human characters. That's why it is thinking, speaking, and acting like human beings. In this story, what kind of person is the Vindhya mountain? It is a quick-tempered person. We can say quick-tempered. That's why, without thinking properly, he believed the words of the sage Narada. He blindly believed his words and caused all the problems in the universe. We should not believe others blindly. That is the moral of this story. Okay, have you understood? Now, let's study the grammar part. Countable nouns and uncountable nouns. What is a noun? A noun is the name of a person, place, animal or thing. Here we have to study about countable nouns and uncountable nouns. What is the difference between these two? What is the difference between a countable noun and an uncountable noun? Let's see that. Okay. Look at the countable nouns. Countable nouns have plural forms. They have plural forms. They have plurals. They have plurals. They have plural forms. Countable nouns have plural forms. For example, student. What is the plural? Students. Spoon. Spoons. Bag. Bags. These are some examples. They have plural forms. They have plurals. But uncountable nouns have no plural form. No plural form. For example, snow. You have snow plural form. Snow, no plural form. Flour. F-L-O-U-R. Flour, dhanyapodi. Okay, no plural form. Okay, another example, furniture. This is an uncountable noun, so it has no plural form. Jam. This is another uncountable noun, it has no plural form. Okay, countable nouns have plural forms, but uncountable nouns have no plural form. Have you understood? Countable nouns are things that can be counted as separate units using numbers. For example, 1 spoon. 1 spoon. 2 spoons. 3 bags. We can use the cardinal numbers to count. They can be counted. Countable nouns are things that can be counted. That can be counted. Countable nouns are things that can be counted as separate units using numbers. We can use cardinal numbers to count them. But uncountable nouns are things that cannot be counted and separated individually. That cannot be counted. Cannot be counted. Cannot be counted and separated individually. We use the quantifiable words such as a little, some, much, etc. before the uncountable noun to quantify them. Quantifiable words. Amount എത്രയാണെന്ന് നമുക്ക് മനസ്സിലാക്കി തരാൻ സഹായിക്കുന്ന വാക്കുകൾ. Okay, quantifiable words such as much, a little, some, etc. before uncountable nouns. Okay, uncountable nouns are the things that cannot be counted. Are the things that cannot be counted. For example, we use the quantifiable words before this uncountable nouns. much snow. Much snow. Some flour. A little jam. This type of quantifiable words, we use this type of quantifiable words before the uncountable nouns. They are uncountable nouns are things that cannot be counted. We use the phrase how many before these countable nouns. How many books do you want? How many sweets do you want? We use the phrase how many with the countable nouns. But we use the phrase how much. We use the phrase how much with this uncountable nouns. How much sugar do you want? How much. We use how many with the countable nouns. We use how much with the uncountable nouns. And most of the abstract nouns are uncountable nouns. For example, beauty, wisdom, strength, fear, love are some examples for abstract nouns. Abstract nouns are mostly uncountable. Countable nouns and uncountable nouns. Read these words from the lesson. Day, mountain, bird, animal, star. All these words are countable nouns. We can count the number of days, nights, stars, and so on. Now, read these words from the lesson. Shame, funny, air, respect, anger. We cannot count these. We cannot say respects or airs. These are uncountable nouns. Put a tick if you can count this. Put a cross if you cannot. Put a tick against the countable nouns. Put a cross against the uncountable nouns. Let's do that. 1. Rice. Rice is an uncountable noun. So put a cross mark. Rice is an example for an uncountable noun. So put a cross mark. 2. Pencil. It is a countable noun. Pencil is a countable noun. So put a tick mark. Pencil is a countable noun. So put a tick mark. 3. Gold. Gold is an uncountable noun. Gold is an uncountable noun. So put a cross mark. Gold is an uncountable noun. Put a cross mark. 4. Heat. Heat is an uncountable noun. So put a cross mark. Heat is an uncountable noun. So put a cross mark. Furniture. It is an uncountable noun. Put a cross mark. Furniture is an uncountable noun. So put a cross mark. Basket. Sixth one. The word is basket. It is a countable noun. Basket is a countable noun. So put a tick mark. 7. Work. Work is an uncountable noun. Work is an uncountable noun. So put a cross mark. 8th one. Class. Class is a countable noun. Class is a countable noun. So put a tick mark. Thunder. 9th one. Thunder. Thunder is an uncountable noun. Thunder is an uncountable noun. So put a cross mark. Dolphin. Dolphin is a countable noun. So put a tick mark. Dolphin is a countable noun. So put a tick mark. 11th one. Fun. Fun is an uncountable noun. Fun is an uncountable noun. So put a cross mark. Music. The 12th one. Music. It is an uncountable noun. Music is an uncountable noun. So put a cross mark. 13th one. Sugar. Sugar is an uncountable noun. Sugar is an uncountable noun. Sugar is an uncountable noun. So put a cross mark. Rupee. Rupee is a countable noun. Rupee is a countable noun. So put a tick mark. The last one, 15th one, hand. Hand is a countable noun. So put a tick mark. Choose the correct answer to complete these sentences. 1. Fried food can cause a lot of dash to our health. The words are harm and harms. Which one is correct? Which one is correct? Fried food can cause a lot of harm. H-A-R-M. That answer is already done. Harm to our health, not harms. Harm is an uncountable noun. Second one. I had to complete my dash before my holidays ended. Homeworks or homework. Which one is correct? The second one, homework is correct. H-O-M-E-W-O-R-K. That is an uncountable noun. Homework, not homeworks. That is wrong. I had to complete my homework before my holidays ended. Homework, H-O-M-E-W-O-R-K. The second one. Third, my uncle gave me 100 dash for my birthday. In bracket, rupee and rupees. Which one is correct? 100 rupees. That's a countable noun. My uncle gave me 100 rupees. The second one, R-U-P-E-E-S. Rupees for my birthday. My uncle gave me 100 rupees for my birthday. Fourth one. Every bottle of cola has 7 spoonfuls of dash. In bracket, sugar and sugars. Which one is correct? The first one, sugar, S-U-G-A-R. Sugar is an uncountable noun. Every bottle of cola has 7 spoonfuls of sugar, S-U-G-A-R. Fifth one. Dash on television have interesting films on wildlife. Channels or channel? Which one is correct? Channels on television have interesting films on wildlife. Channels. The first one is correct. 6. There are many dash in this part of the city. School or schools? There are many schools in this part of the city. Schools. School is a countable noun. There are many schools in this part of the city. First one, harm. Second one, homework. Third one, rupees. Fourth one, sugar. Fifth one, channels. Sixth one, schools. Describing words. What are describing words? The words which describe the noun are called describing words or adjectives. What is another name for describing words? Adjectives. Look at these phrases from the text. Mischievous sage. splendid meal, hefty kick. Here, the words mischievous, splendid and hefty are describing words. These words, look at the word mischievous sage. Here, the word mischievous describe the noun sage. How is the sage? The word mischievous describes the noun sage. Mischievous sage. The word mischievous is a describing word or an adjective. Okay, what is another name for describing words? Adjectives. Mischievous is the describing word. It describes the noun sage. Next, splendid meal. The word splendid is a describing word. It describes the noun meal. How is the meal? Splendid. It tells the quality of the noun. Splendid meal. Describing words are qualifying words. They describe the quality of the noun. Splendid meal. Splendid is a describing word or an adjective. Hefty kick. Hefty kick. The word hefty is a describing word. The word hefty is a describing word. It describes the noun kick. How is the kick? Hefty kick. The word hefty qualifies the noun kick. It describes the noun kick. How is the kick? Hefty kick. Here the words mischievous, splendid and hefty are describing words. Look at the exercise. A. Underline the describing words in these sentences. 1. We enjoyed the long journey from Agra to Mumbai. What do we have to do? We have to underline the describing words in these sentences. First sentence, we enjoyed the long journey from Agra to Mumbai. Here the answer is already underlined. We enjoyed the long journey. Journey is the noun. The word long describes the noun journey. The word long describes the noun journey. So long is the describing word or adjective. Second one. Mother made a large pot of soup when I was ill. Which is the describing word in this sentence? Mother made a large pot of soup when I was ill. How was the pot? The pot was very large. Mother made a large pot. The word large describes the noun pot. How was the pot? Large pot. Here the word large describes the word pot. So, large is the describing word or large is the adjective. 3. Okay, have you underlined the word large? Underline the describing word. Underline the word large. Third one, Paula lost her black purse. Paula lost her black purse. Yes. Which is a describing word? Tell me. The word black is describing the noun purse. What is the color of the purse? Black. Black purse. The word black describes the noun purse. Black purse. Which is the describing word? Black. Underline the word black. 4. My house has an old gate. My house has an old gate. How is the gate? It is an old one. Old. The word old describes the noun gate. The word old describes the noun gate. So, old is the describing word or it is an adjective. Old is the adjective. Fifth one. I bought a colorful skirt for Diwali. I bought a colorful skirt for Diwali. How was the skirt? It was very colorful. A colorful shirt for Diwali. The word colorful describes the noun skirt. So, Colorful is the describing word. Underline the word colorful. Underline the word colorful. Look at the first sentence. Long. Long is the adjective or describing word. Long journey. Second sentence. Mother made a large pot of soup when I was ill. Large pot. Large is the describing word. Paula lost her black purse. The word black describes the noun purse. So black is the describing word or the adjective. My house has an old gate. The word old is the describing word. I bought a colorful skirt for Diwali. Here which is the describing word? Colorful. Colorful is the describing word. Complete the sentences using the correct describing words from the box. Which are the words in the box? Brown, young, green, heavy, colorful and big. These are describing words or adjectives. This is Patrick, our postman. He is a dash man. He always has a dash smile on his face. He wears a dash shirt and trousers every day. He carries a dash bag filled with dash envelopes. He delivers letters on his dash cycle. What do we have to do? We have to complete the sentences using the correct describing words from the box. This is Patrick, our postman. He is a young man. That answer is already given here. Young man. Young is an adjective. It is a describing word. He is a young man. He always has a dash smile on his face. A dash smile on his face. What is the answer? Which word will you select for this? He always has a dash smile on his face. A big smile on his face. What is that? Big smile on his face. He wears a dash shirt and trousers every day. He wears a dash shirt, brown, young, green, heavy, colorful, big. What is the answer? He wears a dash shirt and trousers every day. What is the answer? All of you say. Try to find out. Brown, young, green, heavy, colorful, big. He wears a brown shirt and trousers every day. Have you got the answer? Brown. Brown is an adjective. It is a describing word. He carries a dash bag. He carries a dash bag. Brown, young, green, heavy, colorful, big. The bag is full of things. So, he carries a heavy bag. He carries a heavy bag filled with dash envelopes. Different colored envelopes are there. So, we can say filled with colorful envelopes. Colorful envelopes. He delivers letters on his dash cycle. What is the color of the cycle? Green cycle. Okay. Have you got the answers? Once again, I'll read. This is Patrick, our postman. He is a young man. He always has a big smile on his face. He wears a brown shirt and trousers every day. He carries a heavy bag filled with colorful envelopes. He delivers letters on his green cycle. Let's listen. Listen to a passage on the life of Dashrath Manjhi. As you listen, take the correct answer. Okay, I am going to read the passage. Listen carefully. Dashrath Manjhi was from a small village in Gaya in the state of Bihar. The people in his village were very poor and had many difficulties. In front of the village was a big hill. The people had to climb the hill or walk a long way around it to go anywhere. Even the hospital was on the other side of the hill. One day, Manji's wife, Phaguni Devi, slipped from the hill and fell down. She broke her ankle and was not able to go to the hospital. Manji was angry. He decided to cut down the hill. He sold his gods and bought some tools and rope. He worked all day and all night. People laughed at him, but he did not stop working. Soon, the villagers saw that the hill had become flat. Some people joined Manji and worked with him to cut down the hill. Dashrath Manji worked for 20 years. He made a path through the hill to help his villagers. Because of his hard work, he is known as Mountain Man. Now, let's take the correct answer. Dashrath Manji was from a small village in Dash. What's the answer? Yes, Bihar. Okay, take it. Second one. The villagers had to dash to go anywhere, swim across a wide river, climb a big hill. What is the answer? Yes, climb a big hill. Okay, take it. 3. Manji became dash when his wife broke her ankle. Angry, sad. What's the answer? Yes, angry. Okay, correct. Take it. 4. Manji decided to dash, move to another village, cut down the hill. What did he decide? He decided to cut down the hill. Okay, take it. 5. Manji dashed when people called him mad. Stopped working, did not stop working. What's the answer? Manji did not stop working. Okay. 6th one. Manji is known as dash for his hard work. Mountain Man, hill hero. He is known as Mountain Man. Manji is known as Mountain Man. Okay. Let's speak. Read this sentence from the text. The god said to Agastya, please help us. The highlighted words are used to ask someone for help. Please help. That is the highlighted word. These words we use to ask someone for help. When we ask someone we don't know to help us, we usually begin our request with excuse me. Say all of you, excuse me. For example, what's the example? Excuse me, could you please tell me how can I get to the principal's office? And what's the reply? Certainly, please follow me. Okay, you don't forget this word excuse me. When you want help, we begin the request with excuse me. Look at the another sentence. To carry many piles of heavy books. How will you ask? How will you request? To carry many piles of heavy books. How will you ask? Excuse me. Could you please help me to carry these books? Could you please help me to carry these books? We must begin with excuse me. Excuse me. Could you please help me to carry these books? To search for a lost pet. Excuse me. Could you please help me to search for my pet? My pet is lost. Could you please help me to search for my pet? Dear children, I hope you could understand today's class. Watch the video many times. Then only you will be able to understand the lesson. Read the lesson. Write and study the words. And I would like to remind you the message that we got from this lesson. What's the message? Do not believe others blindly. Thank you.